Unfortunately, I entered the cinema at a time when the stories that were being told changed, and as soon as the door opened a little bit, I put my foot in, and then I put my elbow in, and opened the door with all my might, and I got in, and now nobody gets me out. I could say it's easier to talk about politics, religion, and soccer in Mexico than to talk about racism. The magic of racism and classism in Mexico is that we don't even see it. We don't even notice it, and when someone points it out to us, we get offended and angry at being called racist and classist. I was able to assimilate completely and become wary of my situation when I became an actor, and when my acting career put me in a different level with a closer contact with people of another economical level, with those of another racial origin, of another ethnicity, is when I was able to understand the difference. I was raised between Ecatepec and Coacalco. Beyond that, I was clueless entirely on what was out there beyond that. Basically, fame was a world foreign to me in so many ways. And my references were other things unrelated to fame. My references was to go up to the hill and get hammered with my friends. My references would be my neighbor was a kidnapper. It was definitely another world. So basically, to arrive to this universe where you are totally an alien, where you don't understand anything, it's not just arriving and have the acting job, but also arriving and belonging to this group of people. My teacher gave me the best piece of advice I could ever get. His name is Carlos Torres Torrija, a great acting teacher. He said you have to jump higher, you have to run faster, and you have to be stronger than everyone else to get there. You have to study more, you have to read more, you have to know more, you have to question yourself more, you have to turn things around 10,000 times more than the others in order to get there.
And without any doubt and based on the data that yes, skin color is not a default variable. But skin color is a major determinant of salary level, job position and the type of company in which we can achieve it. It is one of the variables that is being considered, but in our social dynamics this racial unfairness in the workforce is still very deeply rooted.
I once asked a dear friend of mine who was working in casting people. He always called me to play these characters of these messed up kinds like vagabonds, robbers, or killers. And I said to him, "You're always calling me for this." And I assure you that I'm one of the few actors who have two careers. I have a journalism degree from UNAM and also a career as an actor. But well, anyways, I said you always cast me in these roles, and he told me because that's what they want to cast you as. Because you are dark. That was his answer. Because you're brown. And I was in shock and I told him, "Well, you can't do this to me. You are my friend, bro. You can't treat me like this. It's because I'm your friend I'm telling you this," he says. "You know how many times I proposed to them for you to be the hero," he says. "You know how many times I proposed to them for you to be the college boy? You know how many times I proposed to them for you to be the hunk? Thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And do you know how many times I asked them to make the white-skinned ones the thieves, or a offender, and they say that's ridiculous and absurd. With you, they tell me, oh geez, he looks too Mexican for the part, to avoid saying I'm too dark. I assure you that my jaw just literally dropped.
Me quedé con la boca abierta.
One of the areas particularly important to develop anti-discriminatory practices is in the area of the media and the advertising in particular, where there is a strong tendency to promote social models of whites, blondes even, it would have to be said, that they do not represent at all what is the social composition of Mexican society.
Once a teacher told me, aren't your parents ashamed of giving you that dog name? Referring to my name. And they taught us to be ashamed of being who we are. We were told that our grandparents were savages, savages who pulled out hearts and ate them for breakfast. And they didn't tell us that our grandparents built a city on a lake that never flooded, or that they built pyramids bigger than those of Giza and Cholula.
Racism as a discourse and as an ideology. Mexico since the 18th century giving all the negative attributes to people of the race that at that time was called Negroid, or of the races that were said to be indigenous of the Americas. Then it starts to make a whole ideology that justifies that they are inferior races, and that is why they have to be subjugated.
Que lo que hace es justificar que hay razas inferiores y que por eso hay que someterlas.
There's nothing worse that you can do here in Mexico than to call someone Indian into their face. If you go on the streets and tell a transit worker, an office worker, a police, or two, whomever Mexican you see, if you say they look Indian, watch how they blow up.
Mexico is a country that has a difficult relationship with racism. Well, first you have to make clear that race is not real, but racism definitely exists. Racism is the false construction of race being scientifically a distinct factor, and the claim that those differences matter for the access to rights, opportunities, that it matters based on the value of a person. One or more people should contribute to this society, so we can eliminate racism once and for all. That way the color of skin, and phenotypes and ethnic grouping, all these elements that produces and sometimes defined falsely like a race, these things must be evaluated to understand human rights and value.
Yalitza Aparicio Roma. It was a historic moment. Yalitza Aparicio, the star of the Mexican film Roma, was nominated for Best Actress at this year's Academy Awards. It was the first time an indigenous woman was in the running. But despite international recognition, not everyone back in Mexico celebrated Yalitza's success. Mexico's largest TV channel ran a parody of Roma. Many accused the light-skinned actress for mocking Yalitza with her brown face makeup and a prosthetic nose. Other Mexican personalities attacked the indigenous actress on social media with racist comments. Award-winning actor Tenoch Huerta says roles for dark-skinned actors in Mexico are limited.
People like me can only play characters who are messed up or who are thieves. We're the delinquents, which is funny because 80% of the population are mixed race. Your skin pigment still determines your social status and cultural level. The darker your skin, the more ignorant you are. It's a narrative that's been around for 500 years.
Some critics say popular characters like La India Maria helped perpetuate stereotypes about Mexico's indigenous population.
Part of the portrayal of indigenous people is that they are kind of like children who have not developed their abilities, who still haven't adapted to modern life. They're poor, very lazy, and don't produce anything worthwhile. They have become a caricature in the media.
But thanks to actors like Tenoch and Yalitza, ordinary Mexicans are finally able to see people like themselves represented on screen.
I was eating tacos one time, and a young guy selling cookies came up to me and said, "It's you, the one in the movies." And he hugged me and started crying and told me how awesome it was that someone with dark skin that looked like him could get all the girls and all that. This gave me the feeling that we can change things.
But while diversity in Mexican film and television is slowly increasing, on the streets far less seems to have changed. Advertisements seen by millions every day show people who are predominantly tall, thin, and light-skinned. This lack of representation leaves out the majority of Mexicans, who until recently had little chance of seeing lives like theirs played out on the big screen. David Mercer, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.